And so your heart is situated here, and you have your superior vena cava here. Your superior vena cava will give rise to the brachiocephalic, named after the fact that it serves the brachial region and also the cephalic region, which is your head. So you're going to see some branching going up and some branching going towards the limb. So our brachiocephalic exists on both this right side and also on this left side. And then next, when you look at this portion here, this is going to be your internal jugular, because it's going to go and serve structures within the skull. And so again, blood is being drained from there. And if you look here, this tiny little piece here, this is like a little opening here, that's going to be your external jugular. This one goes up to the very top, serves all the superficial regions here. And so blood, when it drains down, it comes down through just that external jugular. And so after our brachiocephalic goes out a little bit more, we become our subclavian. So you can see the subclavian here is sort of where the internal jugular arises from, and also that external jugular. And so subclavian continues on to serve the limb, and then we're going to start there for our next video, our next class. But otherwise, and now continuing with the other vessels here, we have our arteries, we have our aorta, our major aorta, right? Here you can see we have our descending aorta or thoracic aorta, because it's in the thoracic region. And so if you look upwards, again, what matters to us for us today is that if you look at this opening here on all the heart models, you're going to see typically the aorta comes out and you see 1, 2, and 3. So when you examine this side, this is the only one that has a brachiocephalic artery. There's no brachiocephalic artery on this left-hand side. So brachiocephalic right artery goes to the right side, giving rise to the right common carotid artery, which is really hard to see and it's kind of unlabeled there. And then it also gives rise to a right subclavian artery, which would be an artery that would be running underneath the clavicle in this region. And so on this side, you can see the subclavian. I'm gonna go ahead and lower it a little bit. And so you can see subclavian comes down and it goes underneath the clavicle, right underneath the subclavian vein. But you can't see it on this side because you can't remove this lung out of this space. But subclavian artery is here. All right, and then it gives rise to all those arteries that we just saw going to the limb. And so with that, if you examine, keep going up to the very top, you can see your internal carotid artery formed inside here. It came from the common carotid artery, and again, you branch to the outside and branch to the inside. When it branched to the inside, it became the internal carotid artery. And when you look inside the brain, it's going to provide blood into this region, again, right here. Just like the picture in your lab manual, internal carotid artery. Now, there's only one half of this brain, but typically this is the circle of Willis, and it goes all the way around. And so the cerebral arterial circle is going to be going all the way around in this direction, and internal carotid artery brings blood in through there. So it came from all the way from your heart up here and into here. And now it's circulating blood in the brain. And so afterwards, here at the very back, this is called your basilar membrane. It goes along the brain stem. Let that B sort of remind you of that. So basilar membrane, and then the internal carotid artery. And the whole thing, the cerebral arterial circle. And I cannot seem to find your vertebral arteries or veins on this one, but just keep in mind that if you're looking for the vertebral arteries and veins, you are looking for these vertebral bones, specifically C1 to C7, and then you're typically going to find it there. So keep an eye out for that, but otherwise we only have a vertebral bone that shows the artery but not the vein, and that's really it.